Hey everyone, hope you're doing well on this wonderful Sunday. Melissa, myself, and the kids are missing everyone like crazy. Hopefully, we'll get back to normal soon. But until then, be sure to check the YouTube channel on Wednesday for lesson 3 in our series called Stressed Out. Also, be sure to join us next Sunday for our new series, I Am. We're going to be exploring our identity in God and who He says that we are. So this morning, since I seem to be doing this every time, I'm going to ask and start off with a question. Have you ever played Capture the Flag? Okay, I think most of us have. How about Flashlight Capture the Flag? When I was in 6th grade, I was in Boy Scouts. We learned to do all kinds of things: first aid, knot tying, poison ivy and oak identification, usually because somebody got into it. But this is also where I discovered my love of hiking and one of my favorite things to do, camping. Living in the Chattanooga area, my troop would always head down to Chickamauga Battlefield for our hiking trips and camping trips. Let me tell you, there is nothing creepier than camping overnight in a Civil War battlefield and telling ghost stories around the fire. Of course, once the sun went down, we would always end up playing Flashlight Capture the Flag throughout that battlefield. Now, if you've never played this game, it's a combination of flashlight tag and capture the flag. And of course, the more powerful the beam on your flashlight, the better you did and the better the game was. Interesting fact, did you know flashlights weren't invented until 1899? Flashlights, they're a device that you really don't appreciate until you need it. Like, say, when the power goes out, or you're running around a battlefield in the pitch dark. Imagine what it would have been like to live during a time when electricity didn't exist. Having access to power, it completely changed our lives. Think about this. Most of you are wearing clean clothes, at least mostly clean, right? Tell me if you can relate to this. One person in your family does the laundry. After it's clean, they give you a pile of clothes to take to your bedroom. Then that pile of clothes sits on your bed or on top of your dresser or in the corner of your room, and you wear them piece by piece until all those clothes are dirty and laying in another pile on the floor somewhere. Did I get any of that right? It's easier now more than ever to wash a load of clothes. For your great-grandparents, it was much more time-consuming than it is now with modern-day washing machines. In the early 1900s, on Sunday nights, copper tubs would have been filled with clothes, soap, and water to soak overnight. Then the next day, they would add more soap, and tubs would be placed over fires, and the clothes turned over and over for hours until they were clean. Now, at that point, if any clothing remained dirty, they would rub it on a scrubbing washboard until all the dirt was removed. Next, they would wring out the clothes using a hand-cranked machine with 2 rollers or wringing them by hand. And finally, they would hang them out to dry or lay them by a fire for hours until they were dry. That's how most women spent every Monday until the invention of the washing machine in the 1920s. Can you imagine how much life would have changed when it now took only a few hours to do the laundry instead of the entire day? It would have been a life-changing, Believe it or not, some women refused to use this new fancy washing machine. They kept washing clothes the way they always had. Maybe they thought they could do a better job, or they didn't want to take the time to learn how to use a washing machine. But the point I'm trying to make, other than just telling you about the invention of the washing machine, is before you became a follower of Jesus, you were like the person who had to wash laundry the hard way. And once you began a relationship with God, you were essentially given a washing machine. You get to now live with power. Now, you don't have to use the power God gives you, but do you really want to be like the person who didn't see the value of using a washing machine? Power makes things easier. And as a believer, it means that we rely less on our own strength and learn to depend on God. Isaiah 40:29 says it like this: He gives power to the weak and strength to the powerless. Do you think some people really feel weak and powerless? There are people all around you, possibly even you, who don't feel like they're making it through their life very easily because, let's face it, life can be really tough. But I want us to think about this for a minute. God's power created the heavens and the earth. When he said, "Let there be light," the light came to the earth and he created day and night with one single sentence. That same power is available to you. In the Old Testament, God used Moses to deliver the Israelites from the Egyptians who were holding them as slaves. When they came to the Red Sea, it seemed like all hope was lost. There's nothing they could do to get across the water on their own. But God parted the Red Sea so the Israelites could cross on dry land. His power saved them. When facing the Red Sea, the Israelites could have turned around and returned to slavery because they had no hope. Throughout your life, you will face situations that seem impossible, but God's power can deliver you, even when you're backed into a corner with no way out. Often our minds have trouble seeing a way out, but we don't have to see it. We can put our trust in God, knowing that he can see what we can't. Romans 7:24 and 25 says this: I've tried everything. Nothing helps. I'm at the end of my rope. Is there no one who can do anything for me? The answer, thank God, is that Jesus Christ can and does. God wants us to seek his power. Before we get to the point that we are at the end of our rope, listen to this story. Stephanie struggled with lying. In the beginning, it was just a small lie here and there, but it wasn't too long before she found herself lying constantly. You could ask her anything, and you wouldn't get a truthful answer. Her friends started to become annoyed when they realized she was saying things that weren't true about herself and other people. Stephanie felt stuck. She went to church on Sundays, hung out with her youth group, and wanted to serve God. She tried to stop lying, but she couldn't. What's the answer to Stephanie's problem? God's power. God's power helps you resist temptation, and not just the temptation to lie. It's impossible to change ourselves to become more like God without God's help. When we realize that we are weak and our own strength isn't enough, that's exactly when God will show us how much more powerful he is. As always, thank you for joining us. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. If you're feeling adventurous, leave a comment. New content comes out on Sundays and Wednesdays. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram. You can also find more information about the Sunset Youth Group at sunsetyouthgroup.com. And always, you can email us at sunsetyouthministry@gmail.com. See y'all on Wednesday.